Good morning, beloveds. um, wow. Still got a little congestion going there. I have allergies all year. It doesn't matter. And when warm fronts come through, like now, it tends to up my congestion just a little bit. So I apologize for that sound. Now we had a warm front, now we have a cold front. And so we're back in the 50s in January. The highs are still going to be in the 70s. So there's rumors we might get back into the 40s for lows. The highs are still going to be in the 60s. Like Thursday. So, which is good because Thursday's a run day. Today was a run day. So it was nice that it was cooler. I definitely enjoy running more in the cooler weather than I do when it's really hot. And I was a little nervous about the run today because, I overdid a little bit on Saturday with the excitement in the park. And then I did rest on Sunday. And then when I went to the gym, it was actually a fairly gentle workout. And we ended it with a good stretch of yoga there. But there was one time when I did something and my knee went, and he was concerned about it because he knows I'm coming off of a knee injury. And so he was like, "Are you sure?" And then I did it again and I went, and this is one of the things that I'm learning. It is really about intentions. Because what I realized is he had me doing reverse lunges, which is, arguably really good for runners. And I prefer reverse lunges. That reverse lunge just means you're stepping back into the lunge instead of stepping forward into the lunge. I prefer them. They're a little easier, but what I realized I was doing was I was stepping on my big toe. I was not stepping on the ball of my foot, but I was stepping on my big toe, which was pulling on the ligament or tendon, whatever it was, in my knee that I sprained. And my knee, that connective tissue went, yeah, don't do that. So I was nervous when we went out for the run today, but it didn't. I was 3/4 of the way through when I realized I could feel it in my knee that I was tired. And that's where I went, okay, and so I shortened the runs. I didn't push. And in fact, I pulled back. I still did the runs. I just made them shorter and then, walked. So it really is about listening. It really is it's about intention, like intentionally, consciously putting my foot in position. That's what I mean about intentional foot placement and listening. And that is the same for spiritual practice. It's like it's being conscious of what you are doing, conscious of how you are feeling, and listening. And when your feelings are telling you something, you listen and you make the adjustments that you need to. And if you need to slow down, then slow down. If you need to rest, rest. So I'll get off my soapbox and let's talk about January 28th. No, it's January 26th. Sorry. January 26th, right action prevails in my affairs. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that you receive them, and ye shall have them. Mark 11:24. There could be no more explicit technique for effective prayer than this, laid down by the Master himself. We actually are to believe that we already possess the object of our desire when we ask for it. We are to accept it even as we believe in the harvest that follows the spring planting. Therefore, every spring should be one of hope and every harvest one of fulfillment. We must learn to accept the good we desire and affirm its presence in our experience. Realizing that there is a law of good that governs my affairs, I loose every thought of doubt, fear, or uncertainty and accept the good that I desire here and now. Realizing that this law of good not only knows how to create, but must contain within itself all the details of its own creation. I let go of the need to say how my good shall come and accept the perfect answer today. Feeling a deep sense of gratitude and joy because of this, I live enthusiastically and with calm and happy anticipation of more good yet to come. And because there is no sense of strain in this, I relax in quiet contentment, while at the same time realizing that the law of good does for me, realizing that what the law of good does for me, it must do through me. I declare that I not only know what to do, but am impelled to act, to move objectively. I move into the greater sphere of action and life with complete certainty, calm confidence, limitless trust. Today, everything of good in my experience is reanimated, reborn, and increased. Gladly I accept this and place no limits on the divine givingness. I'm going to read that last line again. Gladly I accept this and place no limits on the divine givingness. That line right there, no limits on the divine givingness, is one of the things where we talk about, well, there's two things about it. One, this or something better. Sometimes people come to you, or you yourself are praying, and there's a specific outcome that you want. Sometimes there isn't. Sometimes you're not sure. And so when we don't know, we pray for the highest and best. When we do know, we say this. But when we say this, we place a limit. It's like, I'm going to accept this and I may not accept any more than that. But then we're placing a limit. So what we want to do then is we can say this or something better or something more or something beyond this. So it's like, yes, I am praying for a specific outcome, but I'm willing to accept more. Now, why am I willing to accept more? Because I'm worthy. Why am I worthy? Because I am a child of God. You are worthy because you are a child of God. You are worthy of more than you are asking for most of the time. I mean, every now and again, we're going to have that moment where we're just going to be utterly ridiculous. And if we are being utterly ridiculous within the nature of God, we might get it. If we're being utterly ridiculous and not exactly in the nature of God, we might not. So, just so you know. When we don't know what we want, we pray for the highest and best. When we do know what we want, we're open to accepting more. So that's the other thing is we get out of the way of the how. We get out of the way of the how. And we get out of the way of being too specific. It's like, that's one of the reasons why we focus on the feeling. The red car exercise is an excellent example of this. It's like, so the red sports car, what are the feelings that you associate with the red sports car? Are you willing to have those feelings before you get the red sports car? And that's what this is talking about. Are you willing to have the feelings that you are looking for when you are looking for a specific object? Are you willing to have them before you have that? And then one of two things will happen. You'll either get that or you realize you don't need it. And either one is a fantastic outcome. Either one is an acceptable outcome. If you really want the red sports car, you will get the red sports car. But if you realize what you really wanted was the feelings and you get the feelings, then you can turn that energy into something else. And you don't need the red sports car. I'm not saying not to have a red sports car. I didn't intend to buy I bought a little sporty car. Mine's not red, though, it's blue. I didn't think I wanted a sports car. And, I mean, it's not what you would think of as, but it's a sporty edition of the car that I wanted. And I was like, and I love it. And I love it. So, you know, I'm not telling you not to get the red sports car. So right action prevails in my affairs. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, and he does use the word desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. And that is Jesus. That is Jesus's words in Mark 11:24. And that's part of that in faith believing. In faith believing. When I was coming back from my knee injury, one of the things that I needed to do was buy new shoes. Well, I didn't bother to buy new running shoes because they're expensive until I had been released by the doctor to run. And then it still took me a couple of days. And I was like, finally I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And so I bought the shoes. And then, 2 days later, went for a run. And I'm still running. So, believe that you receive them. There is no more explicit technique for effective prayer than this, laid down by the Master himself. We're talking about Jesus, the Master Teacher. We actually are to believe that we already possess the object of our desire when we ask for it. And part of that has to do with the reality that there's no time in spirit. Because spirit is all there is, spirit doesn't recognize time because spirit isn't bound by time. So believe that we already have them. And then spirit goes, oh, okay. We are to accept it even as we believe in the harvest that follows the spring. I mean, really honestly, if you've ever gardened, and I'm a terrible gardener, I'm terrible at keeping plants alive. I'm shocked that the ivies from the Renaissance booth are still doing well. But, I've got them where when they start to look a little wilty, I water them. Thank God, they're easy to manage. When you put those little bitty seeds in the ground and you think, oh, wow, this is going to grow into, and yet you put them into the ground believing that they will. So in spring, when you plant, you're thinking of, you're seeing your plant visualized fully ready to harvest. And that's the same thing with you do with anything else. When you plant that seed. And I think that's one of the reasons why Ernest uses the gardening metaphor so much. So I hope that people continue to garden so that it makes sense. It's like, you're not thinking about the seed. You're thinking about the fully grown plant. You're thinking about the fully grown, whatever, it's fruit, vegetable, what have you. When you plant that seed, that's what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about the seed. You're thinking about the full grown plant. And that's the way we do treatment. It's like, don't think about the seed that you're planting. Think about the full grown manifestation. And think about it in present tense. Therefore, every spring should be one of hope and every harvest one of fulfillment. We must learn to accept the good we desire and affirm its presence in our experience. Affirm its presence in our experience before we see it in our experience. There's about unicorns. Do you believe in unicorns or magic? If you don't believe in it, you'll never see it. If you believe in it, then you'll see it. And that's what we're talking about here. Believe in it, and then you will see it. Because it's all around you already. And if you don't believe in it, which is why he immediately goes into realizing that there is a law of good that governs my affair, I loose every thought of doubt, fear, or uncertainty and accept the good I desire here and now. Because the doubt, fear, and uncertainty cloud our ability to see what's already around us. It will cloud our ability to see the pathway to get what we want. it will cloud our ability to see that what we want is already right in front of us. It's already in our environment. Or it will cloud, like I said, the pathway to get to it. So we got to let go of doubt, fear, and uncertainty and act as if. Realizing that this law of good not only knows how to create, but must contain within itself all of the details of its own creation, I let go of the need to say how my good shall come and accept the perfect answer today. That is what we mean about when we talk about not specifying the how. That's not our job. We specify the what, and we'll let Spirit take care of the how, because it's already got all the details. It's got all of the details. And when you think of the bank of experience that Spirit has, because it's not bound by time, and it has access to every individualized center, it's like Spirit can get it. It's like Spirit doesn't have to do anything, and the information's there. That's the benefit of Spirit. So we just have to let go and let God. Okay. Feeling a deep sense of gratitude and joy because of this, I live enthusiastically and with calm and happy anticipation of more good yet to come. So, and that's one of the things, gratitude. Because gratitude opens us up to seeing all of the amazing things in our environment. And gratitude opens us to joy, and then we can have that calm and happy anticipation rather than biting our nails and worrying about it. And because there is no sense of strain in this, I relax in quiet contentment, while at the same time realizing that what the law of good does for me, it does through me. So that's where it's like treat and move your feet. Your answer will come through you, or it does come through other people. It comes through, but sometimes you have to go to them, or you have to be willing to see them when they come to you. So that's why we talk about treat and move your feet. Everything that Spirit does, it does through you. Sometimes by moving you into the position when you listen to that still small, quiet voice. I declare that I not only know what to do, but I am impelled to act. Meaning I will hear the guidance. I will recognize the guidance no matter where it comes from. Because I know ultimately that guidance is coming from Spirit. Even if it's, I turn my head and see something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, and I go that direction, and then that leads me to what I'm looking for. I didn't know that was going to lead me to what I was going for, but I was willing to accept the guidance. I declare that I not only know what to do, but I am impelled to act, to move objectively. I move into a greater sphere of action and life with complete certainty, calm confidence, and limitless trust. There is a little bit of this where we just have to trust, and that's faith. Faith with imagination. Or trust with it. I think I've called faith trust with imagination. Today, everything of good in my experience is reanimated, reborn, and increased. Gladly I accept this and place no limit on the divine givingness. So that's what I'm going to tell you. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to place no limit on the divine givingness. Because there is the only limit that we put on divine givingness is the one we ourselves do. Divine givingness never puts a limit on it. Spirit does not put a limit on its givingness. We do that. So that's our mission today, is to release those limits. Release those limits. All right, beloveds. I'm going to encourage you. Part of releasing those limits on the divine givingness is to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, and do something compassionate for yourself. simply because you are a child of God. You are a beloved child of Spirit, in whom Spirit is well pleased, always and forever. This is the state of grace that we live in. We are worthy. There's nothing that we have to do to be worthy of the divine givingness. So, I encourage you, open the windows of your soul, allow that breath of heaven to remind you you live in heaven now. It is around you, and it is about that conscious recognition of the spirits around you, the godlings around you, and the sheer beauty that is around you that can be clouded by our judgments and the limits that we place on it. So, I encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body today. We might get some sunshine here, so I do encourage you to get some fresh air, to get a little sun on your face. I'm talking 5-10 minutes, because that fresh air, that fresh perspective, that sun on your face can do exactly that. It can help to give you a fresh perspective. And drink some water. Hydrate. It's always a good thing. And I'll remind you that Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. today. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Do what you need to do to make it the most fantastic day that you can. All right, beloveds? Have a wonderful day.